I have a lot of mirrors, in all honesty. I literally have like a lot of mirrors. It's really sad, but yet I still use my desk mirror or my vanity mirror, which is this fabulous one that I found from Five Below, but it just doesn't do me justice. I always feel like I'm hunched to do looks, but I think it's time. That I start bringing in the other mirrors. And I found RJ. Poor RJ, like I totally forgot about him. Like poor, look at him. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started here. Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Of course, my name is Frankie Blue and yep, we are back with another video and this is going to be part 2 of my series that I decided to start called Beginner Makeup, where I kind of just show you guys kind of the basics of makeup and how to kind of just prepare yourself for when you really want to get into makeup and stuff like that, and you know, need a little bit of guidance and such. So yeah, we're back with part 2, and this one's going to be about priming, foundation, concealer, and powder. Thanks. If that's something that you guys are interested, of course, keep watching, and hopefully this video is very helpful for you guys. I was thinking, like, how am I gonna approach this? Because I know each person has different skin types, skin texture, you know, combo, oily, normal, all that stuff, and just different like face shapes and stuff like that. So I figured, why not? Let's just start with, you know, my skin texture, my face shape, and what really kind of works for, you know, kind of my skin tone, which is very combo oily. For this video, definitely this is kind of geared a little bit more towards the combo oily skin, but I will include some stuff for like my, you know, dry skin, my little dewy people and stuff like that. So, yeah. Oh, hold on, wait. Before we jump in, let me just start by saying, before we go ahead and get started here, you guys, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. It's going to be found right here. I'm going to be part of the Hot Mess community, as well as make sure you guys hit that like button so that way you guys can tell YouTube that you guys enjoyed this video, as well as make sure you guys share my videos too. So that way other people can, you know, gain some awesomeness off of these awesome tutorials and watch my other crazy ass videos. So yeah, let's go ahead and be a hot mess together, and words of encouragement, at the end of the day, it's okay to be a hot mess, because you know what? Life is always just gonna throw you curveballs, and you know what? It's all good. You know, we learn, we grow, and you know, we keep it moving. We keep pushing forward is what I'm trying to say. So like I stated in the beginning of the video, of course, we're gonna go ahead and just tackle priming, foundation, concealer, and foundation application, or foundation, no, setting powder application. Stop playing, bitch. So I'm going to be talking about products and you know, what kind of they do for the skin and such. So again, this is kind of geared a little bit on the combo oily, because I have combo oily, so I definitely get a little bit oily more often and such, especially during the summertime, because oh Lord Jesus, the struggle is real. If you guys live here in Arizona, no joke, summers here are brutal. Like if you see those videos about those people that cook the eggs in the street, that's here. Okay, so first things first, pretty much like, excuse me. So first things first, I want to definitely include this here real quick. This applies to everybody, actually, everybody in general. The always best way for your foundation to always look good and for it to last longer is always going to be your skincare. Definitely, I always recommend is to always start your skincare, your night morning skincare routine. Definitely, it's always best to take care of your skin and such, because if you apply foundation and you have like really crappy skin, trust me, that's gonna look really bad. Your foundation and your makeup is just gonna look really horrible. So, and I would always say just find a skincare routine or skincare products that work for your skin. Makeup application, the first thing is always going to be skincare. That is always going to be your number one goal, skincare. So keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and start with step 1, priming. I love them. I like what they do to the skin, and your foundation just applies so much better. Now, of course, there's many different primers that combat many different things, just as skincare, of course. But for me, because I have very combo oily skin, I kind of actually like to mix in 2 different types of primers. I like to use kind of a more mattifying primer on my T-zone, because that's where I get the most oily. And then I like to use kind of like a almost hydrating kind of type primer, just kind of like on the perimeters of the face right here, just because it kind of helps target different things that are going on in my face, because Lord knows the struggle is a lot of struggles are going on here. So one of my absolute favorite primers here, this is a good mattifying primer, and this actually goes out to anybody who has oily skin. One of my absolute favorite primers here is this one from Wet n Wild, the matte face primer, which looks like this. On top of it being a very budget friendly, honestly, this is just amazing. This helps controls the oils throughout the day. It definitely does mattify, but not overly like strip the skin or anything like that. But this is really good, and it just applies the foundation really nicely. It does definitely fill in your pores as far as what I've noticed. So I love this one. I don't like to overly prime. I think nobody should be overly priming. Literally, I feel like it's just more product wasted. It's really unnecessary. I don't recommend putting a lot of primer. Literally, this is kind of like all you need. This is enough. And what you can do is just kind of just dot it all over your face, or just kind of just put a little bit only in the areas where you get the most oily. Kind of just want to just massage it all over your face and such, so that way it can kind of get into your skin. So primer. Whenever I kind of just need to hydrate more of my dry spots, which is like right here and somewhere here, I like to go for this one right here, the NYX Marshmallow Primer. This is kind of fairly new-ish, and this one definitely kind of like gives me like a small little boost of hydration, especially like in the dry areas. Definitely in the dry areas is where it's tough, especially if you apply foundation and it's a matte foundation. It tends to get stuck in the dry areas, and it's just really gross. This just gives me like a nice, like, again, boost of hydration, and just kind of just brings some moisture back into my skin. Again, you only need a little bit, and you're just gonna just pat it on the parts where you get oily, or sorry, not oily, dry, and then just go for the rest of the face, the perimeters of the face. Okay, so let's go ahead and just talk about tools real quick. Now, of course, any foundation application goes best with, you know, whatever tool you decide to choose. So I like to use a brush like this. I think it just applies your foundation so much better. You definitely get a more fuller coverage than using a blender. And I feel like it just buffs the foundation in so nicely. It just blends it in all together. And I love using something like this. Beauty blenders. Don't judge the dirtiness of this one, beauty blender. I do like using beauty blenders and such. Not really that much to use for foundation. I kind of just use these more to kind of just, you know, blend in my concealer and such. But I feel like for me, beauty blenders are nice to apply foundation, but I feel like it kind of takes away from the foundation. Maybe that's just me. I think beauty blenders are definitely really good for like textured skin and such, because you get to kind of just press the foundation into the skin to kind of push it in there. I don't really use them that much, but this is usually the way to go. Another great application for foundation is a nice little flat kabuki brush like this that has like a very flat edge. If you really do want a nice fuller coverage of foundation, this is it. So for foundations, again, I have very oily combo skin, so I tend to kind of like to gear my foundations more towards kind of like a mattifying moment, but I do like me a nice soft matte, or, you know, a more natural satin finish foundation. One of my absolute favorite foundations that I've been using since like day one when I first started makeup is this one right here. This is the Maybelline Fit Me foundation, and this is the matte and poreless one. The finish on this is amazing. It's not overly matte, I'll be honest. It's not overly matte. I love the coverage on this. It's a definitely more medium coverage type foundation. But this is incredible. Now there's different types of foundation. This all goes into preference of what, you know, you all like. There's of course light coverage, there's the medium coverage, and then there's the full-blown coverage. It just again depends on all your preference. For me, I like to use more of a light medium coverage, light to medium coverage. I feel like full coverage for me is a little bit more on the heavy side, but again, that's just me, and it's just all preference. Whatever you feel like doing and works for you, go for it. So again, if you want a nice medium coverage foundation that's also buildable, this one is a really good one. So whenever you're shopping for foundations, one thing that you want to go ahead and look for is, of course, not only the undertone of the foundation, you gotta make sure that it matches your, not only you, but your undertone, but also the finish that you're looking for. You know, matte, dewy, full, medium coverage, things like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually use the Maybelline Fit Me foundation. So when it comes to foundation application, I usually kind of just go like this. This right here is already a lot to me. So what I like to do is I like to do more of the dot application rather than sticking my brush in the foundation and just kind of smear it. You can do that. It's all up to you. Again, I just like to use a more controlled way. And again, the dot application, I feel like to me is a more controlled way of applying your foundation, because that's when you get to see how your foundation looks with the first layer. And if you feel like you need to build up more, then you just start spot correcting right there. So this is what I mean. I like to take my finger and then just dot, and then just start dotting all over my face, like so. That's like probably even not even the entire thing of what I placed on the back of my hand. So again, I like to use a brush like this, and I like to go more on like a round motion. This helps buff the foundation into the skin and makes it so, it makes your foundation application so much smoother. I like something like this, but if you want a little bit more coverage, then go ahead and go back and, you know, start dotting a little bit more, and you get a more nice buildable coverage to what you're looking for. Now, I have a little bit of like acne scarring, a little bit acne and stuff like that. So what I like to do is I like to take whatever's left over of foundation, and this is where I kind of just start doing like kind of like spot adding to it. So meaning like I want a little bit more coverage here, so I just kind of just press a little bit like that. Same thing on right here and right here. A little bit more on the chin and right here. And that's when I go back again with the foundation brush and start buffing that in. This is not, I'm adding a little bit more coverage to areas where I want it to be a little bit more coverage, but I'm also not kind of packing it on, because I really don't want a heavy foundation. I also still like doing this kind of method when I'm using a fuller coverage foundation as well, because again, with full coverage, you really actually don't need a lot at all. I recommend definitely using the dot application rather than just straight on. And same thing with the Beauty Blender. Dot the foundation all over and just go with the Beauty Blender and just, and you're all set. So let's go ahead and move on to concealer. So let me show you my little concealer drawer. So these are all the concealers that I love. I love all these concealers. When shopping for a concealer, I mean, what do you shop for when you are looking for a concealer? Of course, you want to shop for something to, you know, brighten up your under eye, as well as to hide the dark circles, and just give you nice coverage. I don't really worry too much about the under eye dark circle stuff, because I really don't have dark circles really. I like to kind of use like a nice like natural medium coverage type of concealer, but I also like to brighten, and so I like to go maybe one or two shades depending on the undertone of the concealer, because concealers can be, the undertones of concealers can be way off. I like to go more for like a yellowy neutral kind of look undertone concealer that has like a nice natural finish, that is a medium coverage as well. So I know there's a lot things happening. So now, of course, when shopping for concealers, this just all depends if you want to find a concealer that kind of just matches your skin. If you don't like to do like the whole highlighting thing or brighten the thing, of course, you know, brightening, you want to maybe go 1 or 2 shades lighter than your normal skin tone. We're gonna go with my all-time fave concealer, is a Kylie Jenner concealer. One thing I do want to mention here real quick, I know I'm talking about products and I'm recommending products and such as long as I go along with this video, but do not be influenced like, oh, you need to go buy this now, I need to go need this, I need this, I need this. So don't go up just because I'm talking about this foundation or this primer or this concealer. It doesn't mean that, you know, you need to go out and buy it because it might give you the same coverage as what I am. No. Again, these are techniques and such that can work out for anybody that can apply to help apply your foundation, concealer, all that jazz. You know what I mean? So, yeah. One of my favorite techniques on applying concealer is, again, dot. You can never go wrong with the dot application. And by that is I like to take the concealer and I just like to put 1 dot here, like that. See what I mean? Like that. And then for right here, because I want to elongate the face a little bit more, I like to kind of just take the concealer right here and then just swipe up like that. That right there is literally all the concealer that you need. To blend out your concealer, it's all preference. You can use a brush, you can even use the warmth of your finger, or you can use a beauty blender. I like to use a beauty blender just because it helps distribute the product a little bit better and just makes it look even more natural looking. So I'm gonna go with the beauty sponge, and what I'm gonna do is just gonna pat it like so. I'm not dragging it out yet, but I'm just gonna pat it right in its place, and then I'm gonna start dragging it down like so, and then dragging it outwards. Same thing on the outer part. Just, tap it in place first and then start pushing it outwards and pushing it inwards, and you're just gonna start blending them together. This eye looks so much better right here. Literally with just only that little product, you've got a nice, beautiful under eye. Like, look at how beautiful that looks now compared to here. I'm telling you, you do not need like a whole like triangle motion going on of concealer at all to get a nice coverage. Just the dot application like that gives you a nice, beautiful coverage without looking heavy, and it just kind of still looks really nice and uniform with your foundation and such. So now, of course, if you want to go a little bit more coverage, because there's gonna people be out there that I was like, well, I want a little bit more coverage. Just go back with your concealer, and again, you're gonna do the dot application, but instead of putting a dot here, you're just only gonna put 1 dot, and you're just gonna put 1 dot right here, like that. And again, just go with your beauty blender and just pat it. Again, if you want a little bit more coverage, yeah, just do just add another small dot. And if you want to brighten, go with a lighter concealer and just again do the 1 dot, and you're all good. Again, you're not adding a lot product. Again, I don't like to do very cakiness. There's nothing wrong with if you like that kind of a look or, you know, all that stuff. For me, I like to keep it more kind of like your naturalness of your skin and such. So that's why I like to go with as minimal product as possible, but still give me nice coverage and such. So I like using setting powders and such, especially because I have very combo oily skin. That's where I kind of like to use the more powder to kind of help control all that. I'm gonna get this out of the way real quick. I don't do the whole baking thing. I used to back in the day. The way that I do my makeup now, I realized that back then it just made my skin very textured. My under eye felt very heavy and very dry. I don't like the baking thing. Not that there's anything wrong. People that like to bake, that's cool, good for you. I'm glad that it works out for you, but I don't feel like baking is not for everybody, especially if you have aged skin. I don't recommend baking. Same thing with dry skin. I do not recommend baking at all. I feel like it will just emphasize your dryness even more. But if you do wanna, you know, kind of just set your under eyes, set your face, you can use a sponge. It's all up to you, but I like to use more like a nice little flat brush, something like this that's flat and nice and fluffy. So I'm going to show you guys how to kind of just set your under eye here real quick. And I'm going to go with this powder right here from Maybelline. This is the Fit Me Loose powder. So I like to take, you know, a little bit of loose powder in the back of the cap, and then I just like to go with, you know, flat brush like that, and I just like to kind of just press. So you can see I collected a lot of powder. We're gonna kind of just tap it back in because we don't want a lot of powder. Again, we're not baking, we're just setting. So again, just tapping as much excess as you can. For setting the under eye, again, you don't need a lot of powder. This is already enough. You're just gonna kind of just pat this like so, like that. You're just doing a nice, beautiful, soft set. So now if you want to set the entire face, like kind of just set your foundation, but don't want to overly powder it like crazy. So let's say you, for example, you want to keep like some luminosity still, some dewiness from your foundation on your skin, but you still want to set it and just powder it. Just do a light dusting. That's all you need, a light dusting. I like to do that because again, I still like to keep some healthiness to my skin, some nice like natural radiance in it, but I still want my foundation to last longer, especially since I have oily skin, oily combo skin. This helps just keep still looking nice and fresh, but still set. I hope that makes sense. I like to take a nice big fluffy brush like this. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I like to take something like this, or you can take a bigger, fluffier brush or such, whatever helps for you. And again, I like what I did with the under eye, I'm gonna, you know, tap this on the powder. Again, we're gonna do the same thing as taps the excess off. Okay, and what we're gonna do is, again, we're just gonna tap this all around because you're just pressing it now onto the foundation. You're not disturbing your foundation. There you have it, guys. That is, let me go ahead and just wrap the face up with my bronzer, my blush, and do the rest of my makeup. So I will be right back. All right, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Again, this is part of the beginner guide series that I am doing here to help you guys kind of get a good start on, you know, makeup application. Of course, these are what I consider the basics of makeup. And this is part 2 of it, and that's primer, foundation, concealer, and powder. I really hope that you guys learned a lot of really good tips, and I hope that it also works out for you guys whenever you are starting to do your makeup and stuff. As you guys can see, my face looks really good. Again, I don't feel like I have a lot of stuff happening. This is all light, so yeah. Leave me all in the comment section down below of what we think of today's video, as well as if you guys know of any other techniques that can help out, you know, better the foundation, you know, what we discussed here in this video so much better. Leave it all in the comment section down below. You know what, I'm always up to learning new stuff, and also people who read the comments can also catch on some things, so you can leave it all in the comment section down below. And if you guys notice, I do have my blush, my bronzer, brows, and everything already done. Stay tuned for part 3, where we're gonna cover that stuff soon. So before I let you guys go, of course, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. That's gonna be fun right here, and be part of the Hot Mess community. Before I let you guys go, of course, you know, hit the subscribe button down here, so that way, you know what, you guys can all stay tuned for videos and be part of the Hot Mess community, as well as, you know, hit that like button down there. That tells me and tells YouTube that you guys enjoyed today's video, and such, and that way so I can bring in more stuff here that involves with stuff like this. And Yeah, as well as share my videos out there to the world so that way other people can kind of, catch on to these videos and to see my wild self, and we can all grow our hot mess community. You know what? At the end of the day, it's okay to be a hot mess. You know what? The struggle is real, and that's okay. Yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.